Hey everybody, this is Dick Justice doing the video review for Transformers Age of Extinction Leader Class Optimus Prime. Usually I'm not an Optimus Prime collector, but I feel like this particular Optimus Prime was not the typical Prime that we usually get in terms of character in the movie, and I'm going to leave it at that. So for that reason I thought this toy was worth picking up. I have not yet caved and opened the Evasion Prime that I have sitting in a pile beside me here. I don't know if I'm going to or not, only because I feel like that one might be a little bit too G1 for me in terms of looks, but I really do like this truck design, and I ended up actually really enjoying this Optimus Prime figure, not because it's Prime, but because of this character in the movie. Of note, this is the light red version. I do have the dark red version here to compare. Basically everywhere on this Prime that is this red, on this Prime is this red. It's a little bit darker. I think it looks a little bit nicer. These are proving to be a lot harder to find, so I left my dark one sealed, because at first it was like an even split, like 50-50 light and dark, and then I went looking again after I ended up with both, and all I can find are the light ones. So I thought, okay, the light one must be the way they're intended, must be the more recent one. Let's go with that. Size, the truck's pretty big. I don't have anything handy for size except for Pokey. So he's truck, he's a horse. I think Pokey's a donkey, actually, but whatever. So to start the transformation, you want to take this shield off, which I already did. It just pegs into the trailer hitch here and sits like that. It's okay. Makes the truck a little bit longer than it needs to be, but whatever. Then you want to lift up on this top piece and fold down the sides, and also fold out the chrome tanks. And that allows you to fold the entire backpack up. And now I have this propped up precariously on the sword and the front of the truck. The sword you just unpeg, and then that, when you slide down the wheels, that pegs back in kind of between everything nicely there and slots in, and then it looks like Prime's got the sword on his back. Next thing you want to do is fold the legs down and rotate them. Then we get the shoulders out of the way. They snap back. They don't just sit there. They actually snap back. You can split the shoulder armor, and then that kind of comes behind. And my one gripe with this figure, besides like lacking wrist articulation and having a melee weapon, is that these panels here are a little bit big, but I understand what they do. And you fold down the waist and flip down the chest, and the head pops up. Another minor thing, the second time I transformed this and did that step, the head flew off, and it flew about 6 feet because it's spring-loaded. I ended up taking the entire figure apart, only to find out that I didn't have to do that. If you just screw the head back together, it sits on that ball joint pretty well, and it doesn't actually snap otherwise. The legs are easier to transform if you keep them swung forward, so that's actually opposite the configuration they were in vehicle mode. Lift the grill up, flip this entire thing around, then the grill flips back around onto the hood, foot comes out, wheel rotates. Over here, hood, foot, other foot piece, back around, wheel. Now you can straighten out the legs, and he actually stands quite well. The backpack has like no weight to it whatsoever, so he can stand pretty well. Then you want to these waist skirts if you get his legs forward enough, everything slots in nicely behind him, and then it all kind of falls into place. And he actually stands quite well and looks very heroic, I guess. If you can call this Optimus Prime heroic, I feel like he was more hunted and, you know, Survivor Man type thing, but not Les Stroud, just Survivor Man Prime. There's a hole on this arm for the shield, and there's a peg on the shield. And they just go together oh so nicely, and you can remove the sword from the sheath on his back. It's a little bit of a tight fit, and he can hold it. The thumb is actually the articulated part of the hand, not the actual hand itself. There's a little divot in the sword that goes into the peg on his hand, and then you can close that, and you end up getting actually quite a badass looking Prime. I know a lot of people don't like this knight thing and didn't like the character of Prime, and I think that everything is due for an update, and I don't really give a fuck what came out in 1984 because it's now 2014. So this Optimus Prime, at least as a character and as a figure, is both nice, refreshing, cool, very updated. I really enjoyed him. The chrome doesn't detract from the figure. It's very well placed, and I don't really care that the windows are yellow and they look like frozen urine. It is what it is. Like, there's no way you can pose this Prime holding his sword and his shield and he won't look cool. I've done a few different things. This actually just kind of happened with how the review was going and where his arms were positioned. I like that. I might just move him to a shelf like this. Size, here he is with Generations Rat Trap. Rat Trap comes up to about his waist. So he is a leader class figure and is pretty sizable. And in all honesty, is just really, really cool. I know a lot of people like to take this backpack off. And I did that. I actually had the entire figure apart because of the stupid head. Because I didn't actually try to just screw the head back on. The head's in 3 pieces, and when it flew off the ball joint, I tried to snap it back on, but it wouldn't snap. And it's because it doesn't snap. I had the backpack off, and I feel like the figure looks naked without that, and I don't think it has to do with the fact that these hip skirts are part of the backpack. I think it has to do with the fact that he just needs a little bit more heft to him. Yeah, I don't know. I just did not like it without the backpack. So here we have Transformers, Age of Extinction, Optimus Prime. Pretty cool figure. There he is with the other one, the dark red one, again. I really enjoy him, and if you can get a good deal on one, I would suggest running out and buying it ASAP, just because it's good to support change every once in a while.